Hello and welcome to the Ashrah Advanced Guide. Hopefully you found the first guide helpful. Now we're going to be going over all of the more advanced techniques you can do with the character and all of the different kinds of more advanced combos that you can do with this character. Hopefully you find this helpful as well as the first guide, and let's go into it. So for starters, we're going to be going over Ashrah's Dark Stance. Everything you need to know about it and why you would want to use it. Before we begin, I would like to point out that Dark Stance is worse than regular stance in one of the most important ways, which is this projectile. You lose access to it and you get this one. Sadly, this projectile is a majority of what Ashrah is as a character. It is her single best move and what her presence in neutral is revolved around. You cannot jump over this in neutral. You are simply forced to be walked down by the move. You aren't able to do anything else. And that's why going to the Dark Stance and losing your best tool is almost always not worth it. But we're still going to go over why you might need it. So, for starters, with Dark Stance, the most important move and almost the entire reason why you'll be using Dark Stance is her teleport that she gets access to. This makes it almost worth it to use it, because if you notice, at the bottom left, you'll be able to see plus frames. A lot of different moves allow for plus frames now. Being able to be plus off of any button is extremely strong. As well as being able to cancel it and faking them out, it can be very useful. So, this is the main use of it. If you're not getting value from your projectile, whether that be the running Sub-Zero as an assist, and it's just not feasible to get any value off of your projectile, instead of playing this mind game on if you're going to do this into this, Sub-Zero would negate that, but this does allow you to play mind games with that. And I believe there are some assists that hold more value with Dark Stance, specifically Scorpion. I believe Scorpion is the go-to assist for Dark Stance. Other assists I do not think can provide as much value with Dark Stance, which we're going to get in later with the Scorpion segment. But in general, this is used to close distance when normally you wouldn't need to. And it's used to pressure when normally you'd have better pressure, which is why I would say Dark Stance is not generally useful. As far as the advanced methods and things you can do with Serena, we're going to quickly go over the advanced conversion off of an anti-air. It does a lot more damage than the alternative, and I would recommend getting good at on reaction flicking into the forward assist when you see a jump in. Being able to get that much damage off an anti-air is very useful. We're going to be going over one more use for Serena. If you're in a position where you're about to get the crumple state on your opponent, whether that be through a Serena call into 2-1, or you just happen to get a crumple state in neutral, and your opponent is about ready to break, one very important thing you can do to get the extra damage to either close out the game or get more damage before they're able to break is calling Serena and forcing them to break after you've already gotten 30+% on them. So the reason I believe Scorpion works best with Serena when she's in dark mode, as opposed to other assists, is being able to have extremely close-up plus pressure for your character with Scorpion will allow very strong 50-50 mind games into launch. And being able to have that sort of launch is really good up close, but one of the also main reasons that you might want to run Scorpion is going into dark form doesn't necessarily mean you have to drop damage. A lot of the time when you're in a combo and you get the crumple state, let's say you get the hit and you go into the crumple state, this is the best way to load Dark Stance orbs, right? The orbs you see floating around your opponent, which we'll get into later, that is normally the best way to actually build them. But with Scorpion, he does allow a much better option that doesn't sacrifice on damage nearly as much. You get good damage, good corner carry, and you get the added benefit of having the orbs on them, all three of them, which we'll get into later on what exactly we're going to be doing with those. Now, to do the combo, it's very simple. Forward 2, down forward 3, jump 2, and during the jump 2, right about there, right at the apex of it, and you fall down just a little bit, you call Scorpion, right there, and then you do a forward dash into forward 2 again. The hardest part about this is learning when to call Scorpion, but it is quite lenient. Once you get used to it, it's quite lenient. And this is another reason why I believe running Scorpion is the best assist when you plan to go into Dark Stance. So if you're looking for a more aggressive, more explosive character to run, assist to run with your character, I would recommend Scorpion. If you manage to get hits in Dark Mode, it'll give you access to new launchers and different properties on your string. Your low now launches. Your back 2-2 now launches. And your forward 4, most importantly, now launches. All three of these will result in a different combo, or can result in the different conversions based around how many orbs you have on your opponent. But in general, being able to launch off of more strings is good and is going to be one of the main draws to using Dark Mode. The low. During this combo, you will have to delay your 1-2-2 a little bit more than normal, but in general it is the same conversion as every other one. The mid string. Your back 2-2 into the same thing. Your forward 4-2-3 launcher. If you have more than one orb set up, this is the optimal 4-2-3 launcher. And if you're looking for a little bit more damage, you can always call assist on any one of the converts we spoke about. And you can add an extra 2% on it, on top. The timing for it is very simple, and just be sure to hold down on that. But you just press your assist when you go for this move. It's very easy once you get the hang of it, but practice it as much as you need, if you do want that little extra damage. And another thing I wanted to mention is all of the mid-screen combos that we learned earlier, they are virtually identical in the corner as well. There is nothing really changed, but I'll show you them quickly here. Alright, I might have lied a little. There is one different combo you can use in the corner. Off a back 2-2, it will allow you to launch into a projectile for extremely meaty damage. The next advanced tactic we're going to be talking about is flash parrying. This is one of the harder things to do as Ashrah, but it is an incredibly powerful and fun tool to be able to use. We're going to be going over some examples, and hopefully this will help you in some of the matchups that you may or may not struggle with, as well as ideas to do in general. To perform this, it's very simple. You press your armored move, and as soon as you're able to, you press back to cancel it. This will allow you certain abilities and certain punishes that no other character in the entire game can get by themselves. Being able to have this sort of utility is very fun and very helpful. Flash Parry doesn't always have to be used as a punishing tool either. It can be used to put yourself in a position where you cannot be hit by certain situations. Like, for instance, if Liu Kang is on you and he does this, putting yourself in a situation where no matter what they do, whether they do that, or they do a down one after, or they stagger it, you'll be safe, armored, and protected, and likely giving yourself the ability to cover, to mix them after, will be helpful in a lot of different situations, and can be a safety tool just like any armor, just used in a different way that is much safer. And those are just some of the uses that you can do with her Flash Parry. Able to cover multiple options at once, safely punishing many different things that no other character in the game, or almost no other character in the game, can punish properly with a full combo, like Johnny Cage's overhead, or being able to deal with both options at once, like Havoc's low or grab. Being able to Flash Parry can be very useful and a very, very safe option, because if they turn out to do nothing, you can cancel the teleport, and they'll be thinking you're going to armor, and they'll be waiting for the swipe that doesn't come. So Ashrah can be a very strong character on the defense. She's got incredible tools for it to turn her defense into offense, and it's good to get used to and knowing when you can Flash Parry and how to do it. So here's another situation that you may find yourself a lot with Ashrah. Let's say you have an opponent that's throwing a lot of projectiles and trying to stay away from you. You actually have a very unique toolkit in dealing with this, and we're going to quickly go over it. This will work against any zoner in the entire game, even Raiko. All of them can be dealt with on reaction if your reactions are good enough. You see them throw a projectile? You can teleport through. So there's another way to do it. If you enhance it, you can pretty much guarantee it in a lot of matchups. The threat of teleporting through someone's projectile can be very strong and neutral, especially when you get good enough to do it on reaction, and especially when you can start to armor it to take a projectile up close to get a punish. Doing this will make anybody who's zoning you think twice. You will not need to run the Sub-Zero assist when you're able to do this properly. If you're on point enough, you do not need to worry about Sub-Zero at all, or you don't need to worry about fireballs at all, and Sub-Zero is not needed. So, if you're fighting against somebody where you just can't get your Serena out in time, or you're not able to get a good conversion when you do get Serena, and she keeps on getting hit and you're not getting the value, just being able to teleport and being able to advance them in neutral like this can be really useful. So, I recommend going into the lab, practicing reacting to some troublesome fireballs like Raiko and Sindel, and you'll be able to come out of it a much better and much more consistent player in a lot of matchups. Hopefully this guide has been helpful. I tried not to belabor the point anywhere or overdo anything. I tried to make it as quick and clear as possible. All in all, Ashrah is a very simple character, but I tried to condense everything that makes her difficult, or anything you can do that's advanced with her, into as clear and decisive as a video as I could. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope this video was helpful to you. It took a while to get out, because there were a few things going on in actual life that had me busy, but hopefully it was worth the wait and helpful to you in your journey in learning this character. Be on the lookout for more general videos about general concepts of how to play the game, dealing with pressure, understanding when it's your turn, things like that. And I hope that this was a good video, so thank you so much and have a fantastic day. Peace.